Hi, you're with India Post Live. I'm Ishan, and India Post Live is, of course, India's first online news conversation web TV where you too can participate in this conversation. Today, we are talking about a new product on the market. We're talking about the Samsung S5. Yes, it's come out, a lot of expectations, a lot of reviews have come in. What do you think about the S5? Have you bought one? Well, write into us, tell us what your experience has been like, and we'll share ours with you. So, how you can do that is just go to indiapostlive.com. That's the name of the website, or you can use Twitter to join in this conversation. Just use hashtag IndiaPostLive with your tweets, or use our Twitter handle at IndiaPostLive. First, let's take you through a little bit of a review that we did for the S5. Well, not really a review, but at least to set it up for you, that is what the S5, Samsung S5 is all about. To talk more about that, we have two gadget gurus in our studio, Nikhil and Abhishek. Nikhil runs the website called The Unbiased Blog, and he does a lot of reviews and talks about a lot of things on his website. You can check that out, theunbiasedblog.com. And Abhishek also has a website called Technics Media and Gadgets to Use. So both of them have the new Samsung S5 with them and have been experiencing it. What's been the experience, Nikhil?
For me, it's like I would say it's just another Samsung device. It's not something that has changed the trends or changed technologically advanced device. It's just that what they have picked up is from last year they picked up Sony's waterproof thing and iPhone 5s fingerprint sensor. Other than that, the device is not that great. And if you look at it, if you look at this device, it looks similar to what an S4 would look, what a Grand would look. If I don't rotate it or don't show the back of the phone or tell you that it's an S5, it's not easy to tell it from the front. Other than that, I would say that it's quite expensive in the market right now because what we are getting in India is not the actual processor or the motherboard that is being sold in the other parts of the world. We are getting a Exynos processor and other parts of the world are getting a Snapdragon 801 processor, which matters a lot in the performance. So we'll move on about it.
All right, Abhishek, your initial comments about the S5.
I would say the S5 is a kind of an enhanced and improved S4. It has remained the same in terms of the build quality. They have added some features definitely. They have added some sensors and some hardware as well, which is slightly better. But again, at this price point, which is actually at which it is available in the market, I would say still it is very pricey phone, very highly priced compared to the hardware and the features you are offering. So I would say that it is an enhanced S4, but in terms of hardware and in terms of build quality, it is not that great leap which we were expecting from Samsung this
because
time.
the advertising campaign certainly seemed to suggest
yeah.
Nikhil. You pointed a very interesting fact about Samsung. The point is that from the 15,000, 20,000 rupee phone to your 50,000 rupee phone that you're still carrying, it all looks the same. So, I mean, this was pointed out to me by one of my colleagues here that his driver and his phone look the same. So, I mean, that becomes then an entry barrier for Samsung.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we've been hearing, rumors that it'll be now a metal phone or it'll be a strong build phone. It won't be a plastic anymore for Samsung. But each time we're bought with another plastic. This time, what they've done is change it with the
corrugated plastic.
Yeah, it's just that they say it's a better grip. But I still believe that it's again a plastic. You can't say that the build quality has moved beyond another level where you compare it to other phones like HTC M8, which will be the direct competition for this. And they have a metal phone, they have a better camera. They say that they will be launching at around the same cost.
Right.
So, I mean, again, the S5 is, I mean, the price difference between S4 and S5 is now around 25,000. Why would you spend so much for a waterproof and a fingerprint and a heartbeat sensor? That's
All right,
about it.
interesting. And but the news that has been making about the S5 that the Samsung Galaxy S5 costs $256 to build, 50 more than the iPhone 5s. Why is that so?
Maybe because they just made it waterproof. Maybe that's because of it, and the heartbeat monitor. Obviously, that will cost a little bit more.
Abhishek?
I think it is because of the sensors which they have added to the phone, and again they have slightly improved the camera as well. So these are some of the things for which, because of which the price may have gone up, but again it has not gone up to a considerably high level, because again this time again they went for a plastic back cover phone. So that is their own decision every time, and the reason they say for this is that they want the phone to be light enough.
Right.
So that is one perspective to look at it, but people do like the premiumness in a phone, especially when they're spending around 50K. So they would like the phone to be looking much more premium in terms of the look and better in terms of the build quality as well.
All right, we'll move on to other stories that have been trending about the Samsung S5 online. But talking about the S5, compared to other models in the market, how does it stack up? What are its competition?
The right now competition would be the upcoming HTC One M8, the Sony Xperia Z2, and the iPhone 5s will always be a competition for Samsung. And in terms of camera, it's got the best camera. They say it's got a 16 megapixel camera. It's not available in either device in that Android range. They say that they've got better specs, but in India we're getting a processor that is not up to the market, and the price is still the same. They could have easily launched the same model that is available worldwide with the same price, but I don't know why. And considerably, when you're buying a Note 3, it's been a while it's been here. It's got a 3 GB RAM. No point degrading a model and giving a 2 GB RAM in your premium smartphone. So that is also a question why they couldn't give a 3 GB RAM when they was already there in one of their devices earlier. So again, the question is which one to go for. I would, if you are into build quality and all, then HTC comes much above S5. And when it comes to durability, I've seen a few videos online. Somebody's dipping it in water for an half an hour, it's going fine. So in that case, yes, it's a bit more durable than any other Samsung device. And fortunately, we won't see an S5 active this time because it's already an active device. Like for S4, we had different version, the active version, which was waterproof. This one is already an active version, so less of the variants of the S5.
Would you agree with that, Abhishek, or do you have something to add?
I would say there are certain good things as well which has happened with S5, and the one good thing is the camera. This time they have actually added a 16 megapixel sensor on the device, which is actually good when it comes to autofocus. It does give you some software features which are very good, and they actually allow you to focus much faster than you could do on S4 or any other phone out there, including the HTC One M8 and including the Sony Xperia Z2 as well. This device on the camera front is slightly better.
So, alright, the camera is better, the body is not all that great, the RAM.
And again, one thing which is most of the time hated about Samsung phones is the TouchWiz UI. So the TouchWiz UI this time has become much more subtle. It has become much more responsive. It is very much less laggy as compared to the previous UI which we have seen on S4 and some other devices. So on the software front as well, they have enhanced the phone. They have actually made it much faster to actually use on a
Why didn't you show it to our viewers?
Yeah. So as of now, if I can show you this thing. So the UI is, if you compare it with the S4, for example, the UI is something which is faster, which is responsive this time, and it is much more subtle. It is not something which will actually give a stress on your eyes. So they have adopted a very simple color theme this time. Everything looks very simple. They have actually added the icons. They have made the icons look much more simple, and they does not look animated or any kind of effect is applied over there or not. So all these things actually make the device much more responsive and faster as well, because you don't have so many animations happening, or even if there are some animations, they are kind of fast enough so that you don't face the lag.
All right, interesting point you made over there earlier, Nikhil, and I want to talk about that. You said globally what the S5 is, it's not the same in India.
No.
Why is that a compromise that regularly phone makers make for the Indian market?
That's been a regular trend by Samsung. They say the countries don't have LTE or they are not very much enabled with LTE connection. Why should we give them a processor that is LTE enabled and we can cut down on the cost? But the thing is, we're getting at the same cost that is available in the worldwide market. When we're paying the same amount, we should get the same hardware specs, but it's not the case. Just because we are not LTE enabled.
What is LTE enabled?
It's like the faster version of 3G, the 4G
Okay.
connection, the LTE 4G connection. We are not having it in India that prominently right now. So they think that we don't deserve to get a processor that is enabled with LTE for devices. So that's where I think we are paying the same amount of money, and it's one of your biggest market. Why to fool them? And any other thing is that when you launching a smartphone of that grand stature, you should be having all the colors available. They started the pre-booking. They took all the money.
Yeah,
from
in fact,
people.
if you can just show his website, over there you'd mentioned that as well.
That what happened is one of our readers ordered the S5 and he was assured that he'll be getting a black on day one at the store. And just a day before the launch, he was called and said, "We don't have the S5 black. You can either take the white or take your money back." And he was like, "No, I want a black because I have a white Note 3 and it has gone black from behind because of the dust and pollution in India."
Yeah.
So he was not ready to, and they said, "You can either take your money back or you can forget about your booking amount." So this is not the case. If you're launching a device in India and it's your premium smartphone flagship device, you should have all the things option available at the moment. So that's where it is like a little shocking when you know India is your major market, then why not?
Interesting point he makes of that. Abhishek, would you agree with that? Or you
So
think
I tell you this thing completely in detail. What is actually happening right now? So Samsung actually showcased the Samsung Galaxy S5 at Mobile World Congress 2014. I witnessed the device. I saw the device over there. So it is the Snapdragon 801 chipset from Qualcomm, and they use that chipset, and that is the latest chipset which they are offering in international version of Samsung Galaxy S5. But when it comes to India, they provided with their own chipset, which is an Exynos chipset, which is a combination of two quad-core processor working at the background, and they call it the pure octa-core experience or the pure octa-core processor. However, it is a combination of two quad-core processors working together. So as of now, they are offering a hardware which is actually coming from their own manufacturing, rather than something which is being offered outside India, and at the same price point. And even if you go to the Samsung store right now in India,
how does that affect quality? If that domestic manufacturing versus the Qualcomm processor.
so in terms of quality, it is not a difference, but in terms of the overall performance, you will notice the difference. You will notice the difference only when you place both of the phones, one with the Snapdragon 801 chipset and the other one with an Exynos. If you actually use or play games on both of these phones, you will notice the difference in heating, you will notice the difference in performance in the time, in UI lag as well. So these are the things which you will notice. And one thing I would like to tell you, that even if you go to the Samsung store right now here in India, the model which you see in the demo will be the Snapdragon 801, whereas the one which you will get in the box will be the Exynos chipset. So that's what they do.
That is really surprising. I want you, the viewers, to write in about this. Do you think that Samsung treats the India market like, as a dumping ground of sorts? I mean, that really begs the question. If there is a product that is of an international standard and you're commanding the same price for it, then why serve an inferior product in India? Now, that is a question that I want you to get involved with. IndiaPostLive.com is the name of the website. You can also use our Twitter handle at IndiaPostLive or hashtag IndiaPostLive to your tweets and write into us. We'll, of course, forward them to Samsung for you. Nikhil, is this a trend across other manufacturers as well, or only particularly with Samsung?
See, we've noticed the trend with Samsung particularly because Samsung is one brand where people close their eyes and shut their eyes and just pick up the phone. They have reached to a certain level where the people are like, if it's an Android device, let's pick up a Samsung. Because the service has been good, it's not compared to what other manufacturers are providing, and they have such a vast network of the sellers, the buyers and everything, and the resale value has always been compared to an Apple. So people just pick it up, and that's why they think they can sell anything to Indians, which is not a good way to go. It's unethical, I believe.
I certainly believe it is unethical. Would you agree with that?
I would say they are actually adopting double standards as of now, if I say it correctly in my own words. So that is definitely not the right way to go. As far as the statement which they have given about this is that they say that the Exynos chipset is as powerful as the Snapdragon 801, and they can only provide this chipset, Exynos chipset, as of now in S4 S5 as of now in the market. They cannot actually give the Qualcomm chipset for some reason, I don't know.
All right, this is a very interesting point that has come up over there. Fine, we'll take the debate up with Samsung later, but as far as the product itself goes, the fingerprint scanner, you were saying the major difference is only that, and that can be hacked quite easily.
Absolutely.
So, how does that happen?
So we
What do
were,
do
I
with
mean,
that?
I was checking, I was trying it myself. It's not that smooth or slick as an iPhone 5s fingerprint scanner is. If I just rub my thumb over a 5s scanner, it unlocks the device. Whereas in the S5, it's a bit of a struggle. You have to swipe down from the screen. Other than that, the security issue is so great that.
Can you show that? I mean, how this fingerprint scanner works on the
in an
S5?
S5, what happens is like if it was in a 5S, so I would have to do it like this. But in an S5, it says swipe the entire pad, which is like a little obtrusive. I'm doing my work, I have to do this, and it's not that great either. You have to do it quite a few times to get it right. So I'm doing it right now. It's not just getting it. So now it's got recognized. So I believe it's not, when Apple does something, it's like they do it at the best. I mean, they give you the best thing possible. Otherwise, they don't do it. With Samsung, I feel they've just put it for the sake that others have it, and they're not really worked upon it. Especially when it comes to security issues. Within 5S, you were not using it with your PayPal, but S5 has integrated with your PayPal payments and transactions. So it makes a bigger threat to the community because your PayPal passwords, your PayPal accounts are vulnerable because of this scanner.
Oh, wow.
So what I was seeing on video was like if you have your fingerprint registered, and what happens is leaves an impression of your fingerprint. So people are just rubbing it a little lightly over it, and they're able to get into the device because you're already their impression left on your pad.
That is something that Samsung, I mean, if it's the product differentiator,
Absolutely.
then it should really work upon that. Do we see a recall happening or anything of that sort, Abhishek?
I would say I have used the sensor, the fingerprint sensor on the phone, and it is a kind of a tricky thing. So it is a kind of a tricky thing. As of now, I have actually removed it because I was getting annoyed. I was getting annoyed, like out of 10 times, it was used to say no to my fingerprint recognized, and then only 2 times I got succeeded in unlocking the phone when I tried 10 times. So the trick here is that I can help this thing, especially for the people who have bought S5, is that especially whenever you swipe your finger over the fingerprint sensor, you have to make sure that you are not doing it too fast and you are not doing it too slow.
So what is the perfect timing?
So that you will only get to know once you keep on working. Once you practice, then you will get to know the exact speed, the exact momentum you need to have for the finger to actually go through the fingerprint sensor, and then it will actually start working for you. And within, I think, a week or so, you might get used to it.
But technology is supposed to make it simpler, not
that is the whole point. If you're saying, I'm almost 50,000 rupees almost for it, then it better make your life simple.
Yeah.
I mean, but the interesting points that you make over there about the fingerprint scanner, what are the good features about it? I mean, we're not here to trash the Samsung S5. We're just doing an honest product review.
Yeah.
Samsung has given them these phones. They're part of a program with Samsung to help develop better products and develop the Samsung brand better. But any good features about the S5?
The camera,
other than the camera?
The camera is good. There's this this download boost thing, which what happens is it works with your Wi-Fi and 3G connection to download thing faster. Anything that is above 30 MB of download, it mixes both the connections and download really fast, which is not available on the other devices, which is like a good thing because if I'm downloading something and I am on my 3G and I'm at my work where there's Wi-Fi available, I can download quicker by combining both the connections, which gives me a good speed. If I'm getting 5 Mbps of Wi-Fi and 3 MB of 3G connection, give me 8 Mbps on a single download. So this is a good thing. Then they've added this power save mode. Even if you're left with 10% of your battery, you activate that and you get a complete day with just 10% of battery, which is a good thing.
How does that happen? I believe it runs black and white.
Absolutely. What happens is like it gives you only a few options in the phone, like calling, messaging, and simple options, and turns the screen black and white. But when you're out of battery, you would rather have a phone on rather than going it off just to use certain features. So.
And what about you as far as?
I would say the camera is something which they have enhanced. They have enhanced the UI of the camera as well. Added some good options like selective focus. In selective focus, I can actually take a photo of you, and the entire background behind you will be blurred.
Oh,
so you
the
can actually do
shift
that.
focus thing which
Before
you do
this,
with the regular
if
camera.
you want to do this, you have to actually take a macro shot of an object. So the subject has to be very close to the camera. Only then you could do it. But now you can do it even without actually making sure that the camera is close enough. Second, I would say they have worked on the TouchWiz UI. TouchWiz UI is something which is very much disliked by many people out there because of the lags, because of certain things which are not too good with the UI. So they have actually made the UI much more responsive, faster, and they have added some controls even on the lock screen as well.
All right.
So these controls are actually for the infrared blaster which is there on the phone. Previously, whenever or any other phone where you have an infrared blaster, you have to actually open the application to access the controls of the IR remote, which you can use it universally with any consumer electronics. So this time they have added these controls on the lock screen itself. That means you can actually, without launching the application, you can control your TV, your set-top box, or any other consumer electronic which you would like to control through this sensor from the lock screen itself. So these are certain things which they have done on the UI front. Apart from this, they have added this ultra power saving mode. So this ultra power saving mode, as Nikhil talked about it. So there are two modes. One is the power saving mode, and second is the ultra power saving mode.
Alright.
Under ultra power saving mode, as if right now I have 88% of battery on my phone. If I enable this mode can actually give me around 11 days of battery backup. So this is something which is very good. Because there are scenarios when you are out on a vacation or you are with your S5 and you can't actually charge the phone on the go, or you may not have the charger with you. So in that case, you can actually enable the ultra power saving mode. Once you enable this mode, the phone functionality will be limited. The display will go colorless. It will be kind of a black and white display. You will have these features like calling, messaging, but you can also browse the web. You can use applications like Facebook, Twitter, and you can also use the camera on the phone. You can add multiple applications. You can also use WhatsApp as well. So you can actually use basic important application which a person actually uses, and this mode actually allows you to use the phone for much longer time when you are running out of critical battery. So for example, you have 20% of battery left and you enable this mode, you get around 4 days of battery backup, which is huge.
Oh, this is in terms of battery, this is like a game changer then.
So this is something which they have added into the UI, and this is a very good feature, I would say.
So battery, I think, then would be the biggest feature as far as smartphones, because smartphone batteries would last half a day or a quarter of a day, maybe if you're a heavy user.
True. True.
So
though the battery megahertz has not increased, it's only 2.
Yeah, because
200 megahertz.
and a tweet is in fact come in. Snow Leopard writes in that the Samsung Galaxy S5 has 2800 mAh battery and costs 52K. Note 3 Neo has a 3100 mAh battery and costs 38K, and both look very similar.
All the devices look similar for Samsung, firstly. Secondly, that Note 3 Neo has a bigger screen, so it needs a bigger battery for sure. It has a stylus that is electronically enabled, so that is also needing a little bit of battery, because as soon as you pull it out, there's certain features that are available. So you can't compare the devices, but I think they should have given at least 3000 megahertz of battery, because S4 had 26, so it's just 200 megahertz jump. And apart from that, when you compare it with Note 3, it got 3 GB of RAM, as I mentioned. This one is 2 GB of RAM, which I feel people would feel, why should we go lesser when the industry standard you've set 3 GB RAM, and the Z2 is coming with the 3 GB RAM. Why not with the other devices then?
Abhishek, as far as battery, anything more to add?
The battery is good. However, the overall battery backup actually gets better once you start using the battery. For example, you have got a new device, and this is something which might be helpful for other people out there. You start using a new device, the battery has to be calibrated, and it gets calibrated every time you charge it.
Right.
So if you get a Samsung Galaxy S5 and you expect a complete full day or more than 1 day of battery backup from the first usage, you might not get that.
All right.
But it will take some time, it will get better, and then you will get around 1.5 days of battery backup, which is something I'm getting from this phone. I have been using this phone for like more than 2 weeks now, and now it is giving more than 1 day battery backup, which is pretty good. With this kind of form factor, with this kind of battery. Again, the battery is definitely lesser as compared to Note 3, but Note 3 is altogether a different product, and this is a different product. So they have different strategies sometimes maybe, but again, this battery is not that bad to actually not even give you 1 day of battery backup. You can get 1 day of battery backup, but you have to actually calibrate the battery. You have to charge it properly so that you get the battery backup within a week. You will get more than 1 day of battery backup from the phone.
All right. But what about water resistance? Because that is where Sony was, I think, scoring over
Yeah.
all the competition because
True.
people would just jump into pools
Pool
and
and
start
click
taking
pictures.
pictures,
Yeah.
and that became the trend as far as face pool selfies go.
True.
So underwater selfies. But Samsung trying to cash in on the underwater selfie market
Absolutely.
as well.
What they're doing is like trying to make the what I feel the innovation of smartphone has come to an end they're not trying to do anything else other than the LG Flex which we saw last year, which was a curved display thing. We haven't seen much of innovation in smartphones. We're just seeing a few add-ons like a smartphone with a fingerprint scanner or a better camera. But the innovation cycle has to be like a little drastic now for people to get interested into a device. For me right now, just adding waterproof or adding a heartbeat sensor, the daily usage for these things are not really, people would like really, how often would you use a heartbeat scanner unless and until you're a doctor and you want to use it in your clinic as a device. But just adding these things really doesn't make a device really leap ahead of times. And when you're talking about it's got an IP67 certification for waterproof and dustproof, which is like half an hour of underwater submerged. But I saw some videos where people said that it can easily get an IP68 because it was underwater for an hour and device really worked well. So for that matter, they've done a good job that it's like it can stay underwater for an hour, and the durability test, it is much stronger than the S4 when they did the drop test. So yes, they have made it a little sturdier. Waterproof and dustproof is always an add-on to a device because the kind of environment we live in, we just drop the phone sometimes. It adds to the sturdiness. So it is a welcome change, I would say.
All right,
Definitely.
the waterproof, water resistant thing, do we see that happening with other brands as well? Because I think this is a market segment that everybody would be wanting to move into.
I guess the next player which we will see coming up with a waterproof phone, but again I do not have confirmed news about it, but I guess it will be LG, who always follow Samsung once they launch the phone. So they might be coming up with a waterproof phone with IP67 certification again. Again, when it comes to the waterproof feature of this phone, or you can say this phone is actually not waterproof, it is water resistant and dust proof.
Okay.
So water resistant means that you can actually dip the phone inside water for 30 minutes and till the depth of 1 meter, and it will keep on working after that as well. And people have done it for a little longer time. The phone has survived that, but still it is IP67 certified, and they have not got the IP68 certification, which they applied for some reason. So anyways, I have washed this phone under a tap of water.
Okay.
I have washed this phone under a shower of water. I have done
You
a
took
video.
a bath with the phone?
No, not
What videos were playing?
So I did a test to actually see. So the shower actually gives you a kind of scenario. For example, if it is raining out, so if the phone is getting in touch with the water, the phone is actually completely waterproof as well to an extent, not completely. And why I say that, for example, if you talk about the back cover, I can remove the back cover and show you. They have a rubber padding on the back cover, which actually protects the circuit of the phone. So in case the water is coming from the back
that
side,
once again,
yeah. So in case the water is coming from the back side of the phone, this rubber padding actually makes sure that the water does not go inside, even when it is coming from the camera vent or from the loudspeaker. So this rubber padding actually protects this circuit, which is this, the battery and everything, including the SIM card. So this is how they protect the back side. When it comes to the front or the top, basically, on the top you have the 3.5mm audio jack. I did ask this question to them, and they said that this is waterproof, and it is waterproof. I have added a tap of water on it, and the water does not go inside the circuit of the phone. So it is also protected. Again, when it comes to the connectivity port, the micro USB port, which is used for data charging, this port is also protected because of this flap. So, but if you don't have this flap on,
then you suddenly have lost your water.
Then the phone will get damaged. So they have actually taken certain actions to make the headphone jack waterproof, to make the back part of the phone waterproof to an extent. It is not completely waterproof, but they have done their bit, which they could do to actually make this phone. And I have done that test, and it has survived.
All right, so it's a survivor as far as water is concerned. What do you think? Do you have an S5? Are you planning to buy one? You can ask our experts anything. You can tweet in your responses at indiapostlive.com, at indiapostlive and hashtag indiapostlive through Twitter, and indiapostlive.com is the name of the website. Final comments, gentlemen. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much should we give the Samsung S5?
See, I would give it as 8. I would not be like saying that they haven't done anything good. They have done a lot of things. The theme has gone to a flatter theme like the iOS 7, which is a welcome for the eyes, and the waterproof thing, the sensors, whatever they're adding is adding to the device. But again, what I would say, I'm taking away the 2 points is like you could have changed the looks of the device a bit to differentiate it. I don't want to hold a 10,000 rupees device and a 50,000 device and feel that I've spent 40,000 extra for nothing. And why do I have to tell people that I'm holding an S5 and not another device when I'm spending that much more? It should just show itself. So I'll give an 8 out of the 10.
All right, what about you, Abhishek?
I would give it 7, and the reason I'm saying is they could have actually made this phone much better in terms of the build. However, they did it deliberately so that the phone is light enough, as per the information which I have. And again, they have added some extra features like the heart rate sensor. This heart rate sensor is something which can be used on other phone. Like you can actually track the heart rate even without this sensor as well, using the camera.
Okay.
So this sensor is something which is a new feature which they tried to put into this, but I don't know who will use it. Most of the people will not use it. When it comes to other features like fingerprint sensor, they have added, but not in the right way, I would say. So in terms of the overall design and in terms of the overall research which they have done on the phone, they have done it right, but they have not gone to a level which they should go, especially when they offer this phone for price of 50,000 rupees or above that. So they should have actually done more research on it, made the fingerprint sensor much more secure and much better in terms of the usage. So that is why I'm deducting 3 points. Apart from this, if you are someone who loves Samsung, who have been used to using Samsung phones, this is a very good phone. The UI it has is something which is going to amaze you. This is the first time you will say, okay, TouchWiz UI can be faster. This is the first time you will say that the camera UI is really better. It is taking very good shots. Right. So these are some good points I would like to mention. And the build quality again is not that great, but again, with this plastic form factor, even if you drop the phone, I did accidentally drop this phone, and the phone survived that as well.
Okay.
It can survive water, it can survive a drop, so that means it is a pretty good phone. But still, I would give it 7 because of the design and some of the things which I do not like about the phone. But right. It is a good phone.
On that note, 7 on, but we'll settle it about 7.5 between the two views. 7.5 out of 10. If you disagree with them, write into us, write into them, the Unbiased blog and all about gadgets. Sorry, what was the gadgets to use? Sorry, gadgetstouse.com and the Unbiased blog. And of course, India Post Live is there. You can tweet into us at India Post Live and hashtag India Post Live, or just log in and post your comments over there. So, what do you think about the Samsung S5? Which product should we talk about next? The HTC One M8 that is about to come out, we can talk about that. Whichever product you want to talk about, we'll talk about it over here. So write into us. On that note, we'll wrap up. Thanks so much, guys, for coming in.
Pleasure.
Pleasure to have you, and bye. See you later.